Well, boys and girls, while I wait for a pot of coffee water to come up to heat, and I'm sitting here nice and warm on a cold, snowy day in December, I have a topic I want to cover based on a gift I just received. There's a place in the town where I live, the food pantry, I'm going to call it. I'm not going to give you its real name, doesn't matter. They do a drawing each Christmas and give away gifts. Now, the drawing is done, I'm not going to say I completely understand how they do it, but it is my understanding, if I've got it correctly, that the raffle is that each person whose name is drawn to receive a gift, that name is drawn early in October or November, and then given to somebody to pick out a gift for, rather than having people bringing gifts in and then drawing names to see who gets what. That's my understanding. I don't know that it's correct. Well, my name was drawn. A one-person household, and my name was drawn to receive a gift for Christmas. Now, I got a box with a lot more stuff in it than what I'm going to show you. I'll simply tell you, there was a hat and some socks and a jar full of candy, and there was a, I don't want to say this, a personal hygiene kit. It was a canvas bag with shave cream and deodorant and cologne, and it was Old Spice. Okay, that's fine. There's also a package of razors in there. That's funny, I won't be needing those until late spring because, as you all know, in the winter I grow a full beard. But that's okay, I digress. The item that I'm going to bring you today was the actual personal pleasure gift. Let's call it that. How's that sound? Okay? It was the frivolous item that isn't about survival, isn't about hygiene, or any of that. Let me show you what they got me. They got me the Garth Brooks, The Ultimate Collection. It's a 10 CD set. Now, let me make a few statements here to make this crystal clear. I love Garth Brooks music. I hate Garth Brooks. Or to be more precise, I hate his politics. Let me try and explain this for you a bit. Several years ago, Garth Brooks made a comment on some TV program. I forget just what show it was. It was two separate comments on two separate shows. And I can't quote him word for word, so I'm going to paraphrase what he said. In one case, he said, anybody that sells a used CD should be in prison. Because when you sell a used CD of Garth Brooks, you're stealing from his pocket. And he said something else on another channel I'm not going to get into at this moment. But it plays into the same concept. Well, Garth, this is for you directly. And I hope somebody out there who knows you personally sees this and brings it to your attention. In this country, we have something called the free market economy. Meaning when I buy something, or a friend buys something and gifts it to me, it is mine in perpetuity to do with as I please. And if I choose to turn around and sell it as used, and you don't get a dime off that sale, tough noogies, I own it. You don't own it anymore. I own it. It's that simple. And if you don't like the way the economy in this country works, I invite you to catch the next thing smoking for whatever country fits your bill. So, boys and girls, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to rip a copy of every one of these CDs to my computer. And then I'm probably going to find me a used CD store and sell the entire bunch. I don't know how much. I don't know what the original seller paid. I will find out. And I will try and get as close to or better than what it was sold for originally. My point is simple, boys and girls. Garth threw up a red flag like a red cape in the face of a bull. And this is my answer to him, finally. When he did this was back in the 90s. I had 5 or 6 CDs from Garth Brooks. No Fences and you name it. I had every CD he had out at the time. I ripped copies from my computer and then I went out and sold them at a used CD store. Every single one of them. I still have the digital copy that I ripped to my computer for each one of those CDs, but I don't have those CDs anymore. Like I said, this was back in the 90s. And as far as I know, Garth's politics have not changed. He's still just as much a jackass as he was back then. So, I just thought I'd share this thought with you boys and girls so you understand where I come from and my political thinking. I won't apologize for it. That this is the way it is. Garth is a jerk. Great singer, don't get me wrong. Great singer. But he should take a page out of the Dixie Chick book. Now, a lot of you aren't going to know who the Dixie Chicks are. They made the big mistake to step out of their genre. The Dixie Chicks was a 3-girl singing group in the country back in the 90s. And they decided to stick their nose into politics. And everybody burned their posters and shredded their CDs and just in general refused to buy their music anymore. Now, some of you are going to know the name Natalie Maines. She used, if I'm not mistaken, if I've got it correctly, is that one of the ones that was part of the Dixie Chicks? I forget. That's how forgetful the Dixie Chicks really were. You can look up the Dixie Chicks online and figure it out for yourselves. Like I say, I forget the names of the 3 girls, but I never bought any of their CDs, and I'm glad I didn't. So, just to give you some clue, people should stick to what they know best. I mean, that's what I try to do. I try to stick to what I know. My comments on politics are all based on, yes, my opinion of what's going on the day. And I've always made it clear that anything I say in politics on my channel is commentary, my commentary, what I think, what I feel, what I believe. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm always right. So far, I haven't been wrong, but doesn't necessarily mean I'm always right. It may come a day where I say something and it turns out I get it wrong. It's possible. And I welcome anybody to tap me on the shoulder and tell me I got it wrong. So far, nobody's been able to do that and show where it was wrong. Because I live a conservative life. The Dixie Chicks were extremely liberal. And so they went knee-jerk with what some politicians said, and because they did, they got it wrong instead of researching it to find out. And what they did was they cut their own throat publicly. Figuratively, not literally. I mean, they did it to themselves. The public refused to buy any more of their CDs and so on. They did it to themselves. That's public suicide. So, Garth Brooks, he did the same thing, as far as I'm concerned. And I just thought I'd share that idea. Well, boys and girls, the only thing I got wrong was when it occurred. It was back in 2003 that Natalie opened her big mouth and stuck her foot in it. and it was in regards to the first Iraq War. The biggest thing was she was ashamed that George Bush was our president. Oh, poor girl. But the general point was still the same. And I was right. It was Natalie Maines. That poor girl. You know, there's a famous saying, it's far preferable to have people think you a fool whilst you say nothing than it is to open your mouth and remove all doubt. And Natalie, she opened her mouth and removed all doubt. I just thought I'd amend that to make sure I had it straight. I did go and check up on it to make sure I had the right information. When I was speaking earlier, it was just off the top of my head, best recollection. And I wasn't far off. The only thing I got wrong was the year. Peace out.
By the way, don't forget to